ikaw na.
Good day, everyone. We are the group 3, and for the last chapter that we are going to discuss is the chapter 14, which is the yield management, and it would be presented by the following presenters. First, we have Miss Kea Judea Cabiles, Miss Erica Capul, Miss Cassandra Odvina, and Miss Yani Terenal. And for the learning objectives, we have Miss Kea Cabiles.
Okay, good day everyone. The first learning objective is to understand how do airlines and hotels use yield management. Second, to know how do airlines and hotels control the number of seats or room available within a fare class. Third, what is dynamic nesting and how does it improve booking control? Fourth, how should capacity be allocated among different fare classes? Next slide, please. And now let's talk about fare classes and booking control. In yield management is a technique used to dynamically control the mix of fares sold within any given fare class. This is particularly relevant in industry like airlines, hotels, and car rentals where there is a limited number of unit or seats, room, cars to sell. Yield management, also known as a revenue management, is a pricing structure that drives prices higher as the time of use of the product approaches. In yield management, the seller attempts to maximize the profit it earns and selling a resource by changing the price of the product over time. Next slide, please. Now let's talk about fixed allotment. Fixed allotment, one of the first approaches to controlling booking was through fixed allotment. In the fixed allotment approach, available capacity is divided into discrete chunks and each fare class is allocated a fixed number of seats. A fixed number of seats is allocated to each fare class. Once the allotment for a class is filled, customers are offered seats in a higher price classes. For example, consider a flight with three fare classes, which is the economy, business, and first class. A fixed number of seats are allocated to each class. Once the full economy is full, customers are offered seat and business are first class. So, fixed allotment can lead to missed revenue opportunities because if high fare customers arrive late and all the high fare seats are already booked, they may be forced to accept a lower fare seat or it is resulting in lost revenue. The next slide, please. Now let's talk about dynamic nesting. So dynamic nesting is the approach taken to controlling booking that improve on the limitation of the fixed allotment approach. As with the fixed allotment method, dynamic nesting assigns each per class a booking limit. Unlike a fixed allotment method, the booking limits on all fare classes are reduced as seats are reserved in any individual fare to in dynamic nesting to prevent the possibility of rejecting high fare bookings while reserving seat for low fare booking. Next slide, please. So here are the key points about dynamic nesting. First is booking limits. Limit. Each fare class has specific booking limit, which is the maximum number of seats that can be allocated to the class. Second is the protection levels. Protection levels determine the number of seats reserved for high fare classes. As lower fare seats are filled, the protection level for high fare classes increase. Third is dynamic adjustment. The dynamic adjustment is the booking limit and protection levels are dynamically adjusted as bookings are made. This ensures that high fare seats are protected for customers who are willing to pay more. Now let's talk about the advantage of dynamic nesting. First is the maximize revenue, second is the optimize resource utilization, Third is flexibility. Now let's talk about maximize revenue. Maximize revenue by dynamically adjusting the availability of seats in different fare class. Airlines can maximize their revenue. The second one is the optimized resource utilization. It is ensured that seats are allocated to the customers who are willing to pay the highest price. Third is flexibility. It allows to adapt to changing market condition and customer demand. So by effectively implementing dynamic nesting, airline can improve their revenue management strategies and increase profitability. That's all for my report.
So, a pleasant day, evening, or afternoon to each and everyone. My name is Erica Kapul, and now I am the next reporter, and I am going to discuss about the cancellation, no-shows, and overbooking. So, a cancellation and no-shows are common challenges for airlines when managing reservations. So to address these issues, airlines often employ two main techniques. The first one is they engage in overbooking, which involves selling more tickets than there are seats available. And this strategy is based on the understanding that a certain percentage of customers will not show up for their flights. If all passengers do arrive and the flight is overbooked, airlines may offer incentives such as vouchers or alternative flights to encourage some travelers to take a later flight instead. And the second one is when a reservation is cancelled. Airlines can re-add those seats back to their inventory for the appropriate fare classes, making them available for other customers to book. These methods helps airlines optimize their capacity, minimize empty seats, and ultimately increase their revenues. Next slide, please. The next topic would be the capacity allocations and revenue optimizations. So the dynamic nesting is a strategy used by airlines to manage ticket prices. Katang discuss ni Ms. Cabiles ganina. It works by closing off cheaper fare classes first, ensuring that customers can always buy tickets from more expensive classes until those seats are sold out. To implement dynamic nesting, airlines first need to set limits on how many seats can be sold at different fare prices. For example, if we look at the simple situations with two classes of ticket like economy and business, airlines can apply similar methods to manage more complex situations with multiple classes. Typically, decisions about how to allocate seats among different fare classes are based on practical guidelines developed from simpler two-class scenarios. More detailed strategies for handling multiple fare classes can be found in advanced resources on revenue management. Next slide, please. And lastly, we have the capacity allocations with certain demand. A best example for this is the hotel. When a hotel knows exactly how many guests will come, it can easily manage its room prices. For instance, if a hotel has 30 identical rooms with a standard price set at $250 per night and a discounted price of $150, the hotel can use a strategy to maximize its earnings. So the hotel might decide to keep some of the full price rooms available for last minute guests while selling the cheaper rooms to those who book early. If the hotel expects 10 guests that night, it should reserve 10 rooms for those willing to pay the higher rate. This means that hotel is protecting those 10 rooms for full fare customers while allowing the rest to be sold at a discount. So by doing this, instead of selling all the rooms at the lower price, the hotel could potentially make an extra 100 $1,000 in revenue for that night. So that's the end of my topic. Thank you so much. I will now give the floor to the next reporter.
Good. Hello, everyone. My name is Taranal, and I am the next reporter. And I will be discussing the capacity allocation with uncertain demand. So yield management can be applied even when demand is uncertain by using past data to predict a range of possible levels to optimize capacity decision under such uncertainty. Probability-based techniques are used to estimate the likelihood of different demand outcome. So a common tool for this is the normal distribution function, also the Gaussian or bell curve, which describe how demand varies. So forecasters only need two key metrics, and that's are the expected average demand and the range of variability. Okay, so next slide, please. So let's proceed to the probability function. In a 30-room hotel, the operator expects an average demand of 10 rooms at full price each night, but this demand is not certain. It could vary between 6 to 14 rooms, meaning the average mean is 10 with a standard deviation of 4. So the standard deviation is a key measure of uncertainty. It shows how much actual demand can fluctuate around the expected average. So a higher standard deviation means more variability in demand. So while a lower one indicates more stability. Next slide please. The standard deviation. Using the normal distribution, which follows the bell curve, the hotel operation predicts that 68% of the time demand will fall within one standard deviation of the average. So in this case, that's between 6 and 14 rooms. The remaining 32% of the time, demand may fall outside the range. So this example shows how understanding both the average demand and standard deviation allows the hotel to better anticipate demand fluctuation. Knowing the probabilities helps the operator make better capacity allocation decision, ensuring that rooms are optimally reserved without relying purely on guesswork. And next slide, please. Let's proceed to the cumulative probability function. So the normal distribution helps describe the probability that different numbers of customers, such as 6, 10, or 14, will demand full price room on a given night. However, yield management focuses not just on the probability of exactly 10 customers wanting a room, but rather on the probability of 10 or more customers wanting a room. So this is crucial for optimizing revenue by setting appropriate protection levels for higher price room. Next slide please. Okay, so let's have the K concept of cumulative probability function. The first one is the cumulative probability function or CPF, shows the probability that demand will be at or below a certain number. And the second one to calculate the probability that demand will be at above a certain level like 10 rooms. So we use 1 minus the CPF. So this ensures we're measuring the chance of selling at least that many rooms. Next slide, please. Alright, so let's proceed to application in yield management. In the example of the hotel, with an average demand of 10 rooms in a standard deviation of 4, the operator can use the cumulative probability function to decide how many rooms to protect for full price customers. So here's how it works. First, if a room is protected, there is a 99% chance it will be sold at full price. Second, if 8 rooms are protected, there is a 73% chance that all 8 will be sold at full price. So if a 10 rooms are protected, there is a 55% chance they will all be sold at full price. Next slide, please. So this probabilistic approach helps the hotel determine the optimal number of rooms to reserve for full price customer rather than relying on exact prediction. So by using 1 minus the CPF, the hotel assesses the chance of meeting demands at or above a certain
Mailo, mama
threshold,
ako na isulod
allowing better
pa.
decision about room allocation to maximize revenue. So these methods ensure that the hotel protects enough room for full paying customers without overestimating or underestimating demand. Next slide, please. And the last topic will be revenue optimization. So this section explained how cumulative distribution function or
Kung
CDF
ayaw ka
help
magsaba, dala
yield
kung last
manager
lang ako na sunod
optimize
kong.
hotel revenue by setting appropriate room protection level. Yield managers use demand forecasts and associated probabilities
Kung!
to allocate rooms between full price and discount price customers, ensuring the highest possible revenue. So, this approach ensures that the hotel maximizes revenue by balancing the risk and reward. If the probability of selling full price room is low, selling at a discount becomes a safer option. However, if demand for full price room is expected to be high based on the CDF forecast. Protecting those rooms for full price sales ensures maximum profitability. So the goal of this revenue optimization is to allocate capacity efficiency, maximizing revenue without missing out on high paying customers. And that's it from my side. The next reporter will be Udwina.
Hello everyone, good evening. I am Cassandra Edvina and this my topic is all about the decision tree approach. The decision tree approach is a strategic tool used in decision making that involves visually mapping out different choices and their potential consequences. It helps analyze various scenarios and their outcomes, making it easier to choose the best course of actions. Here a detailed look at the decision tree approach, which is the spoilage and the dilution. Spoilage. It is happens when inventory like hotel, rooms, or airline seats goes unsold because high-paying customers didn't fill them. This result in lost revenue that cannot be recovered once the opportunity passes. Businesses try to prevent spoilage by balancing discount sales with reserve and inventory for last minute pay paying high paying buyers. Next is dilution. Dilution, on the other hand, occurs when too many items are sold at discounted prices. This means that the business fills up with lower paying customers and has to return away high paying ones later, leading to a decrease in potential revenue. Companies avoid dilution by limiting discounts to ensure that they don't miss out on premium paying customers. The decision tree and the probabilities. The decision tree helps calculate expected revenue, factoring in both the potential gains from discount sales and the risk of lost revenue if high paying customers are turned away. A decision tree is a tool businesses use to make decisions by mapping out different scenarios and their potential outcomes. And this context, pricing and booking, a decision tree helps calculate expected revenue by considering both the gains and risks associated with discount sales. Here how it works. The discount sales versus full price sales. Business often have two types of customers, those willing to pay full price and those who looking for the discounts. Here are Littlewood's rule. What is Little's Littlewood's Rule. The Littlewood Rules is a formula that helps companies find the optimal booking limit or how many discount seats to allow based on the demand probabilities and price differences. Um, First is price differences. Littlewood's rule also consider the price gap between the discount and the full price seats. If the difference is large, the business has more incentive to hold back seats for paying customers since each of these seats brings in significantly more revenue. Second is optimal booking limit. By combining these two factors, Littlewood's rule calculates how many seats should be sold at a discount versus how many should be held for full price buyers. This way, the businesses can maximize revenue by finding the regular balance between discount and the full price sales, avoiding both spoilage, the empty seats, and the dilution, which is the two many discounts. Next is Next topic is further enhancement to yield management. Yield management is a pricing strategy that optimizes revenue by adjusting pricing based on the demand and availability. It involves analyzing customer behavior and market conditions to maximize income from the resources. Here, the importance of the optimizing revenue for the business. First is essential for industries such as airlines and hotel to maximize profits. For businesses with fixed capacity like airlines and hotels, maximizing profit means using every available spot. If they don't feel this, they lose money. So it's essential for these industries to have strategies that help them fill as much capacity as possible and profitable prices. Second is help businesses fill available capacity and the best possible price, balance high demand periods with low demand times. Demand varies depending on the seasons, events, or the even time of day. During high demand times like holidays, businesses can charge more because many people want to book. During low demand times, they often offer discount to attract customers and avoid empty seats or rooms. Balancing these prices helps them stay profitable and no matter the season. Third is increase overall profitability and efficiency, efficiency by managing resources effectively. By setting the right prices and reserving some spot for high paying customers, these businesses avoid empty spots and maximize profit. This approach helps them earn more constantly and use their resources, like rooms or seats. It's if as efficiently as possible. That's all my topic, and now let's proceed to the summary of this whole topic. For the summary, fair classes in booking control are essential in yield management, utilizing strategies like fixed allotment and dynamic nesting to optimize revenue by managing how many seats are allocated to different pricing levels. Cancellations, no show, and overbooking further complete capacity allocation, which can be approached with certain or uncertain demand models using probability and cumulative probability functions. The decision tree approach aids in analyzing these scenarios, while ongoing enhancement and yield management techniques allow business to adopt and improve revenue optimization in increasingly complex market conditions. And that's all our report. Thank you for listening.